A guy called Ryan Serhant. Ryan Serhant. Ryan, R-Y-A-N, and then Serhant is S-E-R-H-A-N-T. Yes, Serhant. Ryan Serhant. Sorry? Serhant, S-E-R-H-A-N-T. Ryan Serhant. So he's one of the top real estate consultants in New York. And he doesn't sell any piece of real estate that is less than $5 million. If it's less than $5 million, he doesn't want to sell it. So he sold real estate that costs as much as $120 million per property. Per property. Right? He's very, very popular on YouTube. Very, very popular on YouTube. He's always dapper. You know, he's always on suits, three-piece suits, everything, right? So he's a great guy to learn real estate from. Then there's Gary Keller. Gary Keller is the CEO of the biggest real estate marketing firm in the world. Gary Keller. He wrote a book called The One Thing. The title of the book is The One Thing. Then he has a book, The Millionaire Real Estate Consultant. There's a book called The Millionaire Real Estate Consultant.
And the book is The One Thing.
Yeah, he has two books, The One Thing, and then he has another one, The Millionaire Real Estate Consultant. And then he has a third one, The Millionaire Real Estate Investor. Right? So, and then there is another guy called Manny Koshbin. Manny Koshbin. He's Manny Koshbin. Kosh, K-O-S-H-B-I-N, Koshbin. He's Iranian, but he's American. He's American-Iranian. Kosh, K-O-S-H. The Millionaire Real Estate Investor. That's for people who are investing in real estate. So, Manny Koshbin only sells commercial real estate. Manny, M-A-N-N-Y. K-O-S-H-B-I-N, yes. K-O-S-H-B-I-N. So he only does commercial real estate. He doesn't do residential. Yeah. Then there's another guy, Josh Altman. Josh Altman only does residential. He doesn't do commercial real estate. So you notice something about these guys. They all like focus on one kind of real estate. You understand? This guy does only commercial. If you bring him a real estate deal, he will give it to either Josh Altman, his friend, or somebody else. You understand? Of course, that person will, if the person closes the deal, the person will kick him back some of the commissions, right, for bringing the deal to him. But he doesn't personally, get involved in the closing and all of that. So Josh Altman is, well, he and his brother also run a real estate firm, and they do only residential real estate. Now, when money, so when you check out Money, you are going to see he's very, very flamboyant. He drives supercars, super fast cars. In fact, in his garage, there are probably like 14 cars inside his garage. There's no car in that garage that's less than $300,000. And then he has, around 5 or 6 of them are his personals, Bugattis, Lamborghinis, all of that stuff. But then he always has around 4 or 5 Mercedes Benzes, convertibles. So each time he sells a house to you, he gives you one of these Benzes as a gift. Each time you buy something from him, he will give you one of those Benzes for free as a bonus. Now, of course, he's probably making $2 million in commissions, so it's easy for him to give a $300,000 car as a bonus. You understand? But it makes him stand out. You know that, if I close a deal with this guy, I'm going to get a free car. right? I'm going to get a free car, out of the deal. So it makes him stand out. So anyway, so money has a channel that is dedicated to real estate. Now, of course, their real estate is not our kind of real estate, right? Because their laws are kind of different, our laws are kind of different, but the sales, a lot of times, still mirror each other, right? It's basically still direct marketing. It's basically talking to people, closing them, understanding the scripts to use. What do you say to them? When they have an objection, what do you say? And all of that. And we're going to cover all of that today. Okay, and then obviously you need resources. So resources include the kind of ads to run, landing page templates, and all of that. Yes. Yes. ALTMAN. Yes, ALTMAN. Okay, so these are like some of the top, in our experience, these are some of the top real estate markets in Nigeria: Lagos, Abuja, Enugu, Jos, Owerri, Ibadan, Ogun. That's what, and Abeokuta, Port Harcourt, and Oka. Right? So these are some of the places that we've sold real estate in. In fact, we just closed a deal in Jos for an apartment complex. Not an apartment complex, sorry, for a shopping arcade. A shopping arcade with around 400, it's a huge shopping mall on, I think it's on Ahmadu Bello in Jos. We just closed a deal there with the developers. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Okay, so types of real estate you can sell: residential, commercial, land, right? That you can sell, residential, commercial, land. Now, the most popular in the country to sell are residential and land, right? So, and each of these things have their own separate valuations and the reasons why people buy them. So residential quarters, regular residential living quarters, rentals, Airbnbs, right? We noticed that some of the developments that we've sold the most in the last 2 years are 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms. And a lot of people who bought them are Nigerians who live abroad. So they buy them and they list it on Airbnb. Because for some reason that I don't understand, Nigeria has a way of making everything expensive. Nigeria Airbnbs are some of the most expensive to stay in the world. And I'm wondering why, because I don't see the light and I don't see the roads. And I don't see why they should be that expensive, but they are, right? Because over time, a lot of people who come in don't like staying in hotels anymore, right? So they would rather just go to somewhere quiet, somewhere where they can just stay and just cool off, all right? So luxury, the sorts of residential buildings that you find in Ikoyi, in VI, Independence Layout in Enugu, Rayfield in Jos, Jerry in Port Harcourt, Banana Island, and so on and so forth. So those are like luxury. Those are like the kind of real estate that, companies like Town and Country sell. Companies like Sujimoto, they sell. You guys know Sujimoto, right? Anyway, everybody knows Sujimoto. And then, of course, foreign houses, buying to let, especially in Dubai. So when we were in Dubai in 2008, one of the companies that we went to impressed the hell out of us that we invested in one of their hotel apartments that they were working on, right? So we chose a 12-month instrumental payment anyway that we completed last year. So these are the kind of residential real estates that are available for sale, and then. So breaking that down, some of the ones that have sold the most in our experience is 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and 4 bedroom duplexes. And my explanation for why these houses sell, especially four-bedroom duplexes, is that growing up, our parents drummed it into our ears that, you should own your own place where you live. You should own it, right? Your own place is your own place, so that you won't have to pay rent anymore. You won't have to, have a landlord hanging over your neck all the time, and so on and so forth. So the first huge money that I made in my life, I used it to buy a house. In fact, I used 90% of all the money that I had at the time to buy a house. Right? And then, I now started, because I needed to put money back in my business, and I was like, was this really a wise thing to do? Because now I don't even understand again, But anyway, I still own it though. So a lot of people do that. Okay, so any schedule, now this will differ depending on the company, right? Any schedule for residential real estate is either 5% on the seller developer side and 5% on the buyer side, right? And then again, these things are negotiable. We've gotten 10% sometimes. We've gotten, some of them insist, especially for the 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms. Some of them insist that they're not going to pay 5% because they sell really, really fast. So they are scarce. So when you find them, the developers will say, we're not going to pay more than 5% if you sell, right? Okay. So best markets right now for residential real estate, Lagos, Abuja, and southeastern states. Why southeastern states? Because there's this renaissance among my people, I'm from Anambra, by the way, to start taking a lot of our investments back home. And I won't go into the details, I'm sure you know why, right? So there's this renaissance, and so that has caused a lot of property sales in the southeast to pick up. It used to be a really slow market, but in the last 3 years, it's really, really growing fast. Okay. So any schedule for, wait, I think I moved too fast. Okay. So any schedule for land can be between 5% to 25%. I know there was in 2008, in 2009, all of 2009, we sold exclusively for one company. Exclusively. We didn't sell any other company's real estate. We sold exclusively for them because we had a deal to sell exclusively for them for 1 year. But they paid us 25%. But they were paying their regular consultants 15%. Right? So because I told them, if we're going to sell for only you, then you have to do better than 15%. I tried to drag it to 30%, but it didn't work because, like I said, these things are negotiable. All right. So commercial real estate include retail shops, and why is this thing skipping? Retail shops and office complexes. Now, these are some of the hardest properties to sell. Anyway, commercial real estate. It's not like in the US, right, where a lot of these things are lease-based. Here in Nigeria, it's like you just pay for 1 year, then next year you pay for another year, then next year you pay for another year, like that. So it's hard to manage sales, and because a lot of office complexes are huge, the costs are huge too. Right? And they are slow sellers, so a lot of people, really don't invest as much in them as they do land or residential buildings. You guys follow? Okay. So again, any schedule is between 5 to 10% on the seller, developer side, and so working with real estate companies, I'm going to skip this because this is more or less a Gtext event, right? So I know that Gtext is legit. I know the CEO. I've known him for a long time, even before Gtext Homes started. So a lot of what I'm going to talk about here, there's no point talking about them again because it's basically how to decide which companies to work with, how to know how to sign up with them and all of that. But basically, for example, Gtext offers 10% across board for all of their properties. Now, you might start thinking, so how do I sell a 15 million naira plot of land? But people sell it all the time. People buy it all the time. In fact, last year, immediately the lockdown was announced because we have two companies, the digital marketing company and the real estate company. We had 90% of our clients on the digital marketing company cancel their contracts. 90% of them cancel their contracts. And for good reason. There's no point. There's no business happening. Why would they be spending money running ads? You get what I'm saying? So a lot of the revenue that our businesses generated was from real estate. For some reason, people were still buying real estate. Right? So what we now did was that we doubled down on advertising our real estate. We doubled down on running more ads on Facebook because ads now became cheaper because people got afraid and stopped advertising. So ads became cheaper, we got more exposure. So our ad budget even went further than it usually would, and we generated sales like that. So it is really, really possible. You can go. Just open second week. Back here again. And maybe what we'll do is we'll probably schedule another date for that.
Okay.
Yeah, because my accounts can't run, we don't run Facebook as from my account again.
Okay.
So it's from an in-house account, and I don't have access to it. It's my staff that has access to that. Okay. So, present. So just go to the next slide. Okay, so when you want to sell real estate, there are 4 major groups of people who buy real estate in Nigeria. 4, right? And it is really, really important. And if you're a part of this course, you probably already know what those 4 groups of people are. So 4 groups of people who buy real estate in Nigeria, right? The reason why you want to understand who these 4 groups of people are is because it helps you very, very easily know exactly what to say to them. It helps you actually target them better, especially when you are running paid advertising, right? It helps you target them better. It helps you figure out exactly what it is to tell them to elicit an interest, right? Go. So the first are investors. So these guys are people, and we're going to go into the details, but investors are basically people who buy real estate to make money by reselling it. So they buy, they sell, they buy and they sell, or they build and sell, and they build and sell, right? So you could. There's this guy that I know. He also lives in Lekki. Right? So what he does is he set up this company, this real estate development company. But what he does is he doesn't build anything, he doesn't develop anything. So what he does is he goes, finds land, buys the land, then hires a construction firm. So he hires an architect, they will draw a plan, how he does mostly 4 bedrooms and flats, right? 2-bedroom flats. So he buys the land, hires an architect, they draw up a plan for him, and then he has a construction firm, and then they construct it, and then he goes and lists on all the property websites. So he leaves them there, and then because a lot of people also go to those sites to search, and then that's how he sells, and then he sells. Maybe he finishes selling that particular set, he starts looking for land again. Or maybe when they are getting close to finishing selling all of it, he starts looking for new land again to buy and develop. And how I knew him was I sold him a plot of land in Ikota Villa. You guys know Ikota Villa, right? So, and he, so we're talking when, he was telling me, he said that that in this estate that he has like 3 projects. I was like, inside this Ikota Villa? He said, yeah. So I was like, can we see one of them? So he drove me, and so he drove me, so he bought this expanse of land in one area of Ikota Villa, and he built 4 bedroom flats, and then a block of flats of 8 2-bedroom flats. And he said, this is project number 21 that I've done. Wow. I was like, man, these guys are doing stuff, right? We know they even do anything yet, right? So guys like him, they are just in it to just generate funds. So they want to put in 1 naira and get 2 naira out as quickly as possible, right? Okay. And then we have home buyers. So home buyers are people like me who took almost all the money I had in the bank to buy a house, right? Because our parents drummed it into our head that everybody needs to have their own house, right? There's a popular late musician who is Igbo, Oliver De Kokwe. If you're Igbo, you probably know that name. And he has this very popular song that said that everybody needs to have their own house. So it's cultural. As not just people from my side of the country, it's everywhere. Whether you're Yoruba or whatever, it's cultural that from when you're young, your parents would have told you plenty stories about, how this guy bought a house when he was a civil servant in 1960, and how that house is now worth so amount. And pastors preach it because I saw this clip. In fact, we used that clip to sell to sell a lot of land. So I was on YouTube one day and I saw this clip of Pastor Paul Adefarasin. You have the clip? Okay, good. What have you done with the clip? Because I saw the clip and I used it to make money. Anyway, so let me explain how I did it. So I saw the clip, and in the clip, he was talking about how his dad, his dad was a retired judge, or retired justice, I think. So, but he's late now. So how his dad got this land in Ikoyi for, I think, 4,000 naira, if I remember correctly, and then got Gkapa. Gkapa is a construction firm, one of the biggest in Lagos. So got Gkapa to build, so he had a deal with Gkapa, right? So he gave Gkapa the land and said, build the house, and then use it for 10 years. Then at the end of 10 years, everything reversed back to me, right? So Gkapa spent their money, built the house, but they had an agreement what kind of house they would build and all of that. So I think they built it and put their foreign staff there for 10 years. And then he subsequently started paying rent and all of that. So when their dad died in, I think that was 2015 or something, according to him. I can't remember the exact year, but it's not too far off. So they were like, okay, so what do we do with this house? So Popsy has died. So they were basically, sharing his stuff amongst themselves. So they decided to sell the house, and they sold it for 3 billion. 3 billion naira. And he said that his share at the time was worth $1 million. His share after the sale was about $1 million, that he converted it to dollars and put it in the bank. So when we hear this sort of stories, we want to also buy a house so that maybe in 30 years, our children, we sell it, or in 40 years, or in 50, right? So that's like the kind of mindset that people who are home buyers have. They want something that they can, that they can buy and leave as a legacy to the people coming after them. They also have this thing about, not paying rent. I want to be free. I don't want, so, if I own my own house now, I'm not thinking about, house rents or landlord issues and all of that. So the third group is cash protectors. So these are people that have a lot of cash available. So they do a lot of cash-based business. And if you know how the country operates now, putting your cash in the bank is you decimating your wealth, more or less. Savings accounts don't give you up to 0.5% anymore. 0.5. I'm not talking 1%. I'm talking, the savings accounts won't get you 0.5 interest anymore. In fact, they will even charge you. Exactly. They will charge you, right? Because so during the lockdown, there was this money my dad had in one account. So my dad also he runs an importation business. And so this particular bank account, he had this, I think around 20 million, 18 million, I don't know. And so by the time after the lockdown was lifted and he accessed the account, the interest wasn't up to 20,000 there. And I was like, my goodness, what the heck is this? Like, are you kidding me? So the cash protectors they do maybe they're business people who deal with a lot of cash. So a lot of cash is coming in, right? And they're looking for places to put that money so that it doesn't get affected by devaluation, it doesn't get affected by inflation. And if you have lived in Nigeria in the last 5 years, I'm sure you know how much devaluation of the currency has affected the worth of the currency. For example, that house that I bought in 2014 for 70 million is still being sold for 70 million now. Right? If I want to sell it today, because I see people putting for sale signs in my estate, and I'll call, like I want to buy, right? And the price is between 65 and 70, even 65. One of them is 60. I was like, man, now wow. Let me say I know they sell this house anytime soon with that, So, but at the time in 2014 that I bought it, the dollar was around 230 or so, if I remember correctly. Was it up to 230? One something. Around 190. Around 190 or so. Official rate. 160. 160 in 2014. Yeah, I'm talking 2014. So let's assume it's 190. Ballpark figure. 190 in 2014. Now, the official rate is, okay, let's use CBN figures, 400 naira. So 400 naira, which means that house in dollar value has lost over 50% in value. Because that 70 million cannot buy me the amount of dollars it will have bought in 2014, right? And it is worse for people who have died their money in cash, in naira. It is even worse for them. Because because it's real estate, I can keep it. It's not like I need it anyway, so I can keep it and wait for whenever the economy recovers. Because eventually it will, actually, right? The issue is that we are going to suffer plenty before it does, but it will. But if that money was even in cash, it is worse. Because now, not only the fact that the value is now worth less than half of what it is, it can't even buy much anymore. You can't even buy that same property anymore. So cash protectors are trying to take the cash that they have and protect it by putting it in real estate. Because they know that real estate, the worst thing that's going to happen is that they won't get out the money as fast as they can. But eventually they will. They know that eventually they are going to. And then, because of also the country that we're in, we have this, people can come into sudden windfalls of cash, right? And they don't want to waste it. They don't want, so they will just quickly just look for something to put it in. And many times it's either land or they buy a house. And then number 4 is immigrants. So immigrants are Nigerians who live abroad. And I'm sure, I hear that a lot of Nigerians who live abroad who are also part of, right? And they also buy it because they, especially when they buy 2-bedroom flats, 1-bedroom flats, especially the ones that have bought from us, we figured out that another reason why they are buying it is that so that when they come, they can stay there without having to stay in a hotel or something. But throughout the remainder of the year, when they're not around, they just list it on Airbnb and just take that cash from there. So these are the 4 groups of people. So please go. So I'm trying to break it down here. So investors, they make huge bets and buy land, and they either develop them and then sell the properties, or they buy fully built houses and resell. Next. Yeah, you can. Okay, go back. Sorry? Yeah, we can. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I will put it together as one file. Everything together as one file, and you can share it. Yeah. So home buyers, obviously, they buy because they hate paying rent. Right? Rent reminds people that they are answerable to someone. Right? Even though I really don't care. Right? Even though now, because of what I know, I really don't care. But a lot of people hate the fact that every month they are beholden, every year they are beholden to someone, and they have to give someone part of their money because they think it's their money. It's my money. Why should I give it to you, right? So they want to be their own landlords, to own their own property and direct their own destiny. It's also about pride and ownership. They want something they can pass on to their children. And then these guys, cash protectors, they have a lot of cash in the local currency. The only asset base in Nigeria right now, which makes sense to invest in, outside of crypto, but crypto is super risky. Super risky. So I also talk about crypto a lot. Buy Bitcoin, but don't go and put money that you can't afford to lose in that thing. So that if you lose it, you can afford to lose it. But the only asset base in Nigeria that makes sense right now to park money in is real estate. Treasury bills are down. Treasury bills are returning less than 0%. Negative. That's how horrible our economy has become. Right? Fixed deposits yield very, very little. Fixed deposits are about 5% now, 3 to 5%. Crazy. Inflation rate is at almost 15%. So even if you put your money in a fixed deposit, you're losing money. Right? So these people use real estate to protect their wealth. Okay? And then we have immigrants. So Nigerians who live abroad, they want to stay connected to their roots. So they want to have investments down here, back home in the motherland, that they can fall back on in case they come back anytime. All right. So how to choose real estate companies. So you guys have already chosen Gtext. So I'm not going to go into the particular details of how to choose. But what some people do is that they either join a real estate group. So what a real estate group is like a group of people who come together so that they have better bargaining power with the real estate companies, right? So they come together and form a real estate group. You guys will probably have heard of BRG, right? That's one such real estate group. So, or you can do it yourself. And you don't need a real estate group. You can perfectly do this thing yourself. You can perfectly do it yourself. Okay, so let's move on to the next module and explain some more stuff. So this is where we're going to start getting into some of the real myths, right? So we're going to start getting into some of the real myths. Okay, so how do you market real estate for maximum cash flow? How do you market? How do you sell? How do you sell it? Because that is the cocoa. That is the main thing. All these things I've been talking about since its preambles. They're important though, right? But they are foundational. So this is the next step. How do you sell it for maximum cash flow? So the first thing to do is to dissect the reasons why people buy, right? We talked about investors, talked about home buyers, we talked about cash protectors, and we talked about immigrants, right? So, but each of these groups of people has specific reasons why they buy. I touched a little bit on reasons why, but we're going to go deeper into that. So before you choose any of them to sell to, because the mistake a lot of real estate people make is that they try to sell the same kind of real estate to everybody at the same time, right? And then it gets you very, very minimal results. They try to sell one, they direct it at everybody. But it doesn't work because these different groups of people have their own specific reasons why they are buying real estate. So if someone who is interested in investing is a real estate investor, so he wants to buy maybe land to build and sell it to other people, and then you start telling him that in Ekpe, that he should come and buy land inside Ekpe, he's not going to listen, because he knows that if he goes to Ekpe and build, that he may have to wait 5 years before people start living around there, before he can be able to sell it. But if the land is closer this way, if it's on the mainland that is already inhabited, right, or maybe is in Lekki, right, or maybe it's in Via, now they will start listening, because they don't want to go as far off. They don't want to go as far off as Ekpe to buy, because they want to be able to sell it as quickly as possible, because that is their goal. Their goal is to get an ROI as fast as they can out of that purchase, right? So they're not going to go to somewhere where they have to wait 5 years. They don't have 5 years, right? Okay. So this is basically the reasons why each of these groups of people buy. So investors are looking for investable assets. They want to very, very quickly multiply value for money. And they want quick asset to cash conversion if needed. They want to be able to sell it if they need cash, right? And then they want as high an ROI as possible, right? And of course, guaranteed payouts. So these guys are very, very analytical, because they've done it so many times that they know this thing down. So they know exactly the kind of areas where they want to buy property. If you're trying to push them to buy somewhere else, they won't listen. There are specific areas where they want to buy, right? And especially those of them who build to sell, right? There are specific areas where they want to buy. Okay? So the next group is home buyers. They want to see their investments physically, more or less touch it, right? They want to be able to move in, buy it and go and live there. They want to be involved, right? They want to look successful. They want to feed their ego. They want to become their own landlord. So these are the people that be your own landlord resonates with. If you're telling an investor be your own landlord, he will not listen to you. He probably already has his own house, right? So these people are people who be your own landlord. They love to hear that thing. In fact, that phrase is, one of the real estate firms owns the phrase, sack your landlord now. They own it, they register it, right? So they also want security, because for them, buying a home is also a means of securing their future, right? So they are tired of paying rent, and they want future family legacy and inheritance. And cash protectors are afraid of the falling value of Naira. They are very, very uncomfortable with it. They're afraid of losing money. There are a few places to invest their cash at a profit. And then there's also the issue of lost value of the liquid cash. And a lot of times they want to hide the cash. It sounds taboo to say, but that's the truth. A lot of the times, they want to hide the cash, and they want to clean it. I'm sure you know what I mean. I don't want to go into the details, right? So a lot of times that is what they want to do. Immigrants want a place they can stay anytime they return. They want an income vehicle that's at home. Because you see, as much as the US is a beautiful place, and Canada is a beautiful place, and Australia is fine, and Germany, my younger brothers live in Germany, they own their own houses in Germany, right? The taxes you pay on those things are crazy. The taxes that you pay on those properties every year are crazy, right? So a lot of people who live abroad, a lot of Nigerians who live abroad, also want to have some stuff back home, right, that they can use because it's easier to multiply value back home than there, for example. Because there everybody is trying to sell their property, everybody is trying to, things are moving fast there, so there's a lot more competition there, right? So they also want to be able to, invest some of their earnings that they earn in stuff back home. For some of them, it is also a kind of retirement plan, right? They want, when they get old, they want to be able to, in case they need to come back to Nigeria, they will have something to come back to. It's important for them, right? And then they are also wary of scammers. They're wary of scammers. I saw this video also on YouTube where this guy was screaming and crying, literally crying. He had a cutlass in his hand, and people were begging him. He was trying to kill his sister. Yeah. The video went viral. That was like 2019 or something. He sent money. He has been abroad for a long time, and he was sending money to his sister to build a house. And his sister did whatever the hell she liked with the money. And this guy was then deported. And he coming back hoping that there is a house to come back to. He arrives, and there is no house. And he's not the only case. There are people that thing has happened to a lot of times. In fact, there is this village that is close to mine where the man was sending money to his nephew to build a house for his family, right? So one Christmas, they now came back unannounced. And for 4 years, the house was still at foundation level. The man was so pissed off, took his family to a hotel, so they stayed in a hotel throughout, and he sat down there in the village for the next 3 months and built the house himself. So he sat down there and built the house in 3 months, something that this guy kept, and this guy has been sending him pictures of another person's house as the thing progressed, right? So they're very, very wary of they don't want to deal, because they've had so many experiences and so many stories about how family members dealt with them, right? So they don't want to do that. I will encourage you to actually pay for your ads. It's because it's going to give you more reach. You reach more people faster, because Facebook doesn't want you to promote your business on their thing. They won't tell you that, but they don't like it. So when you post something, they will make sure that as little people as possible get to see it. In fact, all the social media is not just Facebook, even Twitter, even Instagram, right? All of them do that. They want you to actually pay them for ads, so that they can make money. So, pay to play, exactly. So it's important that you actually pay to run the adverts on these platforms, because that way you reach more people. That's number one. Number two is that besides reaching more people, you're actually going to start getting a lot of inquiries. Rather than just putting it on your page and then hoping to God that somebody is going to be, you are going to be lucky enough that somebody stumbles on it and finds it. Now, sometimes that may happen, but you can wait forever. You can wait forever for that to happen. Okay, so So great ads have great goals. Every ad that you write has to have a goal. What is the goal? Is it to sell? Is it to get an inquiry? So let me ask you guys, which one do you think is the best to do? If you write an ad, what should be your first goal? Inquiries. Yeah, if you say inquiries, you're correct. The reason is because nobody is going to buy your 50 million naira plot of land off an advert. It is too expensive for them to make that call just by looking at an advert. So what you want to do is to get an inquiry first. It is when you get an inquiry, you can now start you can now initiate the sales process. Because it is not like a 10,000 naira phone that you buy off Jumia. You don't need to do plenty thinking to spend 10,000. But I can assure you, you need plenty days of thinking to spend 15 million. I can assure you of that one, right? So you need to have, your ad needs to have a goal. What is the goal, right? So besides it, you running an ad to get inquiries, right? How do you want to get those inquiries? Right? Do you want them to just call, which I don't advise? Do you want them to go fill out a form, which I advise? Right? Do you want them to go, do you want them to visit your office, which I also don't advise? Don't run an ad and tell people to come to your office. They will not come. Because you have not developed enough trust equity for them to just look at the advert and then start running to your office. Right? So, right, they need to know who don't mind me, I have to take a lot of water because of my, anyway, it's no longer an illness because I've recovered. But I need to take like 3 liters of water every day so that it doesn't reoccur. So, great ads know exactly who they are talking to. So your ad should be talking to one group of real estate buyer per time. Yeah.
First point, how
Yes.
talk about you should not write call this number.
Yeah.
What should you write?
So I'm getting there. Don't worry. I'm getting there. One by each, according to one man that was learning to speak English. He said one by each. So it knows who they are talking to. So you don't create ads that talk to everybody at the same time. Decide who you want to sell to, and then write ads towards those people alone. Okay, next one. And then great ads have attention-grabbing messages and high-quality images or videos, right? So, keep going. So your real estate advert should do 3 things. Target a specific buyer, like I said, either an investor, a home buyer, a cash protector, or an immigrant. Then it should make a compelling offer. You should make a compelling offer. How many of you are on my newsletter? My free newsletter. I sent a document the other day, I think a few days ago, where I talked about the mafia offer. Right? You should your ads, your sales process should have what I call a mafia offer. You know what a mafia offer is? An offer nobody can refuse. And you know how members of the mafia make offers? They make it with a kind word and a gun to your head. With a kind word and a gun. Because Niccolo Machiavelli says that you can easily get something from a fellow human being with a kind word, but you are going to get it faster with a kind word and a gun to their head. Right? So that's how mafias make offers. But of course, we don't want to point a gun at our prospect's head, right? But you also want to engineer something that creates that situation that a gun to their head will create. Because a gun to the head creates urgency, right? It makes them agree fast, right? So you want to be able to create that same situation. Okay, all right, next. And then it has to be easy to find the contact or response information. How do you want them to contact you? It has to be easy, it has to be straightforward. It cannot be ambiguous, because a lot of people will make a lot of mistakes at this point because they write an ad, and then when it gets to the point of getting that response, because they are uncomfortable with selling, they start, trying to disguise it, trying to, be reasonable about it. You can't be reasonable about asking people to contact you for something. You can't disguise it. You simply tell them exactly what you need them to do. So let me tell you guys a story. So I wrote this sales letter. You guys know what a sales letter is, right? Yeah. So I wrote a sales letter one time, and when I got to the point where people would order, what I said was, I just had that idea as I was writing it. So I said, so here's what I want you to do next. I want you to bring out your card. I want you to click on the link that you're looking at right now, the green button. There was the green button there. I said, click on that link. It will lead you to a site called Paystack. That was when Paystack was new. It will lead you to a site called Paystack. Type in your card numbers, exactly as it is written on your card. Type in, then click submit. When you click submit, I tell them what was going to happen next. Right? When you click submit, type in, you are going to receive an OTP to your phone. Type in that OTP in the box that you see. Then click submit again. They are going to withdraw, I don't know how much it was, whatever, let's assume it was 10,000. So 10,000 will be withdrawn from your account. Have no fear, Paystack is totally legit, approved by the CBN. Once you do that, it means that you have paid, and we are going to get this course, or ebook I think it was. It will be delivered straight in your email in 5 minutes. Make sure you do it now. Don't leave here. And the conversions were through the roof, right? And then I was tempted to start saying the same thing in every other one that I wrote, but I told myself, calm down, guy. So my point is, you've got to make it very, very clear how you want to get a response. It has to be super clear. Okay, so number one, you target one specific buyer type. So the specific buyer type is either, like I said, because I'm hammering on this specific buyer type because it's important, please. It's important because it's going to help you a lot. It's going to help you a lot sell these properties fast. Right? Okay. So, again, the specific buyer types are investors, home buyers, cash protectors, and immigrants. Make sure that your ad is targeting only one group. One group. So I'm going to tell you who we've made the most money from. We've made the most money selling to home buyers, right, and immigrants. We sold to investors too, but those guys are freaking anal-retentive. You know what anal-retentive means? They are too analytical. They will dissect because they know. So they will dissect. I'm comfortable with that, but if you are starting out, you are going to be intimidated. Because they'll probably start asking you a lot of questions that you don't even have answers to. And if you can't answer them, they will not buy. If you cannot respond to them, they will not buy. Home buyers just want to buy a house to stay in, or buy land that they will build in 5 years' time. You understand? It's straightforward, right? Cash protectors are just looking for where to put their money and save it or hide it, right? So, in fact, these guys actually make the quickest decisions to buy because they're in a hurry, especially when they want to hide the money. They're in a hurry, right? There's something I wanted to say now, but I can't say it on camera, so I'll probably say it after the class, right? So, and then, of course, immigrants. Immigrants is more about building a lot of trust. If you want to sell to these guys, it's more about building a lot of trust. If you build a lot of trust with these guys, you are going to sell a ton of property to them. A ton. Because what they are worried about the most is sending money, because they are not here. They don't want to send money down and then something happens to it. Right? So with them, it's more about building a lot of trust. Right? Okay. So you make a compelling offer, which is next. A compelling offer, like I said, is you want to create the situation that a gun to the head is going to create. Right? So your offer should be, go ahead. Right? Your offer basically is how you are going to convince people to call you or to get in touch with you or whatever else that it is that you want them to do. Why would they want what you have for sale? Why would they want to buy it? Why would they want to buy Jasper? Why? You have to find that answer. You have to sit down and analyze it. And those answers are easy to find if you go back to what I explained to you about the reasons why they buy. So you have to frame your offer around those reasons why they buy. Do you guys follow? Okay. So that's it. What is in it for them? Go. Right? What is in it for them? Because people are selfish. Everybody here is, including myself. We're more concerned about what is in it for us. It doesn't matter how much you disagree. That is the truth. Right? If you are not going to be sitting down here if you don't think there's something in it for you. You won't spend your time, leave your house. You came from Apapa. There you go. I know how hard it is to leave Apapa these days. Right? So, you have to structure your offer based on those reasons why they buy real estate. So again, this is why they buy. Again, so that you see everything at a glance. This is reasons why investors buy, home buyers, cash protectors, immigrants. So your offer should evolve. If we're selling to home buyers, we don't say anything outside of these things in our ads. These are the things that we highlight. Right? And guess what another thing with home buyers? They're afraid, because a lot of times it is their first purchase. They're afraid of making a mistake. So what we do is that we first offer them either a free report, or we offer a free class on video. So we record the video, and we tell them, and I'm going to show you how we write the ads. I'm going to show you a sample, not our own ads. I'm going to show you a sample from abroad, but then I'll explain how you can rewrite it to create an ad that goes to home buyers. And all of you here can use the same thing and it won't get saturated. So don't think, oh, because other people are saying it, it's not going to work for me. You're not going to reach everybody on Facebook. I don't care how much you spend. You're not going to reach everybody. I'm telling you, because I know how much we spend on Facebook every day, and we don't reach everybody. You understand? So don't think that because other people are here and have seen it, that it's not going to work. No, it will. Right? So these are the reasons why they buy. So, of course, number 3 is you want to have easy to find contact or response information. Okay? So, examples. So, look at this ad. It says, first-time home buyers class. Learn what you need to know to buy your first home. Reserve your seat today, February 16th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. with Realtor Prince Alexander. And then some of the details here. So how do you rewrite this ad for... No, leave it. Leave it. How do you write this ad for Nigeria, for example? So what we do when we sell, because we know that a lot of people who are buying homes for the first time, who are buying buildings or land for the first time are afraid, what we do is that we tell them, hey, we're doing if you're interested in buying home and this is your first time, or we say, attention, if this is the first time, if you're interested in real estate and you are seriously thinking of buying a home or piece of land and it is your first time. So that's going to be the headline of our ad. And then, please listen, notice the words that I use. It's important. Attention, if you are seriously, you see what I said, seriously considering I want those who are seriously considering it. I don't want somebody who just thought about it today. Right? I don't want somebody who is on the maybe. If you are seriously considering buying a house or a piece of land, and it is your first time, I need you to read this right now. Not tomorrow, right now. And then I continue and I say, the reason why I say this is that first-time home or property buyers make a lot of mistakes that cost them in the long run. Nobody is going to tell you this, but I will. And you know why I will tell you this? Because I don't operate like other real estate companies. I tell you the truth, and I tell you to your face, whether you like it or not. People like rebels. They may not admit it, but they like it. Right? So what I want to do is I want you to attend my class where I explain everything you need to know before you buy your first home. I'm going to be exposing all the tricks, all the dirty tricks that real estate companies use to take money from you. And then I will list maybe about 3 things. I'm going to explain all the dirty tricks. I will tell you how to identify original documents, because I know that's one thing that is a big problem for them, right? I will show you how to identify original documents. Then I'm going to tell you the best places to buy real estate in Lagos or any other city in Nigeria, the best areas, because all areas are not equal. So click here, sign up, and watch the class. The class will start 5 minutes after you sign up. So what we do is that we do a video, and then we'll put a countdown timer. You can find plenty videos of countdown timers on YouTube. Plenty, free of charge. So we'll put a video of a 5-minute countdown timer. You know what I mean by a countdown timer, right? So we'll place it in front of the video, where we basically explain all those things that we talked about. The video shouldn't be too long. It's important. People are impatient, right? So the video is normally not more than 20 minutes. But it's basically just us explaining all of this stuff, right? So the ad now says, so click here to go sign up for the class and watch it right now. It starts in 5 minutes after sign up. So they click, and then it takes them to a page. So in marketing circles, we call that a landing page. So it takes them to that page, and that page has the same headline because you want it to be consistent. The same headline, and with a form for them to fill in their name and their email and their phone number for them to watch the class. Now, I don't put a form any longer. We don't put a form any longer because now we can actually afford not to. If you're starting out, please put a phone number. You want to collect leads first. Now we're willing, because we have more money to spend, to not put a phone number. If you come and watch it, you don't contact us. Now you sabi. You understand? Right? If you contact us now, I know you are very, 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 very serious. Okay? So they land on that page, and we are going to go through all of this. I'm still going to explain how to do those and how to set them up. So they land there, and then they sign up, and then that video starts playing. We set it to play automatically. The video starts playing. So they are seeing the countdown timer. So they are there for 5 minutes. And then the video starts, and then basically explains everything. At the end of the video, we say, if you learned anything from here, by watching this video, and you want to go ahead and buy property from, you want to go ahead and have us help you make the right property choice, I want you to book an appointment with me. There's a button below this video. Click on that button. Fill the form, book an appointment. I want to be sure that you're serious. I don't want to talk to slackers. I don't want to talk to people who are thinking about it. I want people who are serious. I have a number of properties that I think might fit your budget and the options that you're looking for. So let's talk. Click that button, fill that form, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Right? But what I've done with that video is that I've created a lot of trust. Because one thing that happens is that when people teach you something, you trust them. I'm sure I've created a lot of trust since I started speaking here, even if you didn't know me before. Exactly. When people teach you something, you tend to trust them. We tend to trust our teachers from school, especially the ones that were not wicked, right? So we tend to trust them because that's how we've been taught all our lives, right? So when people teach you something, you tend to trust them more, right? So they fill that form and they book that call, and then we call them, and then again I'm going to explain all of the processes. So basically that's how you can rewrite this particular ad, so you can target it to people who are buying their houses for the first time. Because a lot of home buyers, a lot of people who are buying land are actually buying for the first time. Right? A lot of them are buying for the first time. Okay, next. So this is another ad. This ad is brilliant. This is one of the highest converting ads in the US for real estate. And you know why it's converting? Because of the image. I don't know whoever gave this guy this idea, or whoever the person is brilliant. Because taking a floor plan and using it, and then mentioning Shark Tank. You guys know Shark Tank. Yeah. Now, it's not that popular in Nigeria. If you use it in Nigeria, it may not work. So don't use Shark Tank, because nobody watches Shark Tank in Nigeria. You only know it because you're a business person. The person who is buying the real estate might not know. He'll be like, Shark, I don't want Shark Tank for my house. I heard. So it says Shark Tank star reveals brilliant mortgage payoff tip. So if I was rewriting this, I'll use a floor plan. I will say, so I'll target it to people who are buying homes, for example. So I will say, real estate consultants reviews the 5 best places to buy a house in Lagos today. Read the report for free on his website. Click here. You see what I did? Just the image, just that statement, click here. That's it. And it is going to take them to a page. We always take them to a page on our website. Always, all the time. We always take them to a page. So they land on that page, and it is still the same image. Because, again, we want everything to be consistent. The same headline, the same image. Right? And so on that page, I will say something like, there's a button, thank you for your interest in learning about the 5 best places to buy a house in Lagos today. If you are serious about buying a house, I have a number of deals that I believe are going to fit your budget. You see, these words that I'm using are intentional. Fit your budget. Because they want to be able to afford it, especially if they are serious, right? So I have a number of properties that I believe will fit your budget, so I would love for us to talk, but I want to also make sure that I'm talking to the right persons, because my time is valuable. I do not want to waste my time with lookers and people who are not serious. So if you believe that you are serious about buying this property, I want you to click on the button below and fill the appointment booking form, book an appointment with me, and I will be in touch with you in less than 24 hours. So go ahead and click the form below, and then they click there, and then they go to appointment booking page. We use a service called Calendly. Do you guys know Calendly? Okay, it's an appointment booking app. So it's owned by a Nigerian anyway, but he lives in the US. So we used to use one called Schedule Ones, and then I found out that that one belonged to a Nigerian, and it was cheaper, so I even switched. I was at least make my brother, they collect my money, not one random white person that I don't know. I don't even know my brother, but So basically, Calendly is an appointment booking app. So what it does is that it helps you create a form that you can embed on any web page, and people will go there and select a date, select a time. You can set the dates by yourself, you can set the times by yourself, right? So you can set it so that people can only book between 8 and 2. You understand? And you can also set it for all the bookings to only happen on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, or every day. It's up to you how you want to set it. But what it does is that they will go there, they will select the dates that they want you to call them, right? They select the date that they want you to call them and the time. So what it means is that they are selecting the time that is convenient for them. Because what you want to do is that you want to call them when they are most receptive, when they are available, when there's no distractions on their side. Because if you don't have that kind of app, and you mustn't, by the way, and I'm going to explain the other way you can do it, right? If you don't have that, it's hard for you to determine when they are going to be free. Do you agree with me? But if they use their hand and select a time and a date, then it's very, very likely that they are going to be available at that time, right? Okay. So they feel that, and then at those dates, you call them and basically just go ahead, continue. So next one. So this is an ad actually, but they disguised it to look like a newspaper, right? So it says "Fool's Gold." The biggest lie against the listing is a common saying among real estate agents. In order to gain new listings, agents have an incentive to inflate a home's value. Now this is US based, right? So assuming I want to write this ad for Nigeria, right? And when I say Nigeria, it doesn't necessarily mean that it will work only for Nigeria. Please, it's important that you understand. You can run the same ad and sell houses in Dubai to people in Nigeria. So let's assume that's what I want to do here. So I will say fool's gold. How Nigerians waste money trying to buy property in Dubai and the best way to do it today. You see what I just did there? Fool's gold. How Nigerians waste hundreds of thousands of dollars buying property in Dubai and the best way to do it today, right? And then I will write this small article that I have here. So here I will say, everybody thinks that buying property in Dubai is a great decision. And yes, it actually is. But how you go about it, who you buy from, and how you buy it is far more important. Why do I say this? Because in 2018, I was in Dubai for a month. I visited 53. I didn't visit 53. I'm just using it as an example. I visited 53 real estate companies. And going to these real estate companies and seeing what they had and talking to them and asking questions and spending hours and hours of time researching these companies one by one revealed to me how much buying real estate in Dubai can be fool's gold. You think you have bought something, worth something, but at the end of the day, you have bought basically air. Now that person is reading it, the person is like, geez, I don't want to buy air. Right? And then, so I say, one of the things that I figured is so that he will start selling me property. So that's why I tell them, you don't even have to buy it from me. Don't worry about saying that, they will buy it from you. Trust me. We have done this kind of things plenty times. When you show people something, the proper way to do this, they will rather do it with you than do it with somebody else. Every single time. That's how human beings are wired. Every single time. Right? So that's how I will write this. All right, next. Let's see the next one. Yes, go ahead. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's not. I understand what you're saying. Don't worry, it's not. And it's not about Nigeria. I just use Dubai as an example. You can remove all the Dubais that I said and plug Lagos inside it, and it will be the same thing. It's not, but it's not about being discouraging.
Don't let us say Dubai now.
Okay.
Other place or somewhere, then to send the other
Yes.
Now, if you now have property at that place,
Mhm.
that will discourage them. Now, how do you...
No, it's not discouraging them. What you are doing is that you are juxtaposing. You are comparing and contrasting. That's what you are doing. You are not discouraging. Do you believe that not everywhere in Lagos is safe to buy land? Do you believe that? Do you tell that to clients? Make sure that you don't buy in this, because in this area. Now, are you saying that you are discouraging them from buying land in Lagos? No. No, it's not. What you are basically highlighting is for them to see that there are wrong ways for them to do it, but that you can show them the right way to do it. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's basically what you are doing. There's a wrong way to do this, but we are going to show you the right way to do it. So call me and I will explain the right way to do it. I have like 10 wrong, I know about 10 wrong ways to do it, because now they're wondering, oh my God, how many of these wrong things have I done already? Right? Because we human beings, especially when we're spending as much to buy property, we don't want to make a mistake. We don't want to make a mistake. So there's this lady that somebody said that I should call, and I called her. I said, so person gave me your number. She said you will be interested in real estate. He said, why did she give you my number to tell you, for you to tell me about real estate? I'm never buying real estate in Nigeria again. And I was like, wow, I'm so sorry. I think she valued you as a person. That's the reason why she asked us to contact you, because we've worked with her a lot of times and we've had no issues. But if you don't mind me asking, what happened? They said, they sold me land in Lekki and the government took it over. And I lost all that money. I'm never buying land again in Lekki. I was like, wow. I'm so sorry that happened. Actually, that happens a lot. You're not the only person. It happens a lot. But the reason why it happens is because you very likely, and I'm not saying you did, but it's very likely that you didn't do the right searches. You didn't do the right investigation. And so I told her, the truth is that the same thing is going to happen to a lot of people. The same thing has happened to you. In another 5 years, half of the people who buy property in Ibeju-Lekki are going to lose it for the same reasons that I'm telling you about. Now, reason number one is, and I told her reason number one, reason number two, reason number three. The same woman that didn't want to listen, she was just there. She was like, yes, that is true. Yes. That even happened to us. And then we spoke and spoke. She was not like, where did you say your office is again? I said, so I told her, I said, but I'm going to text it to you. If you want to visit us, it's okay to do that. But if you want me to come, I don't mind. I can cancel everything on my schedule and come to you so that we can talk about you buying real estate. She ended up buying 2 plots. The same woman that will never buy anything, any real estate in Nigeria again. So a lot of times it is how you handle it. Now, because I've sold for a long time, I'm very, very experienced, and it's part of me now. When you start, you're going to run into stumbling blocks, but keep at it. Because it is practice that makes you perfect. I wasn't as good as I am now when I started. I wasn't. Right? Okay. So this one is, what is your home really worth? So if I want to write this, I could say, what does a plot of land in Ibeju-Lekki really, what is a plot of land in Ibeju-Lekki really worth? Right? I say, find out exactly how much to, find out exactly how much real estate in Ibeju-Lekki is worth, how much you should pay depending on the area, so that you don't overpay. You see what that is? So that you don't overpay. Right? Click here to get a list of all the estates in Ibeju-Lekki, how much those estates are, the ones that are overpriced and the ones that are not, and the best ones to buy today. And then I'll send them one sheet of all the estates in the Bejuleke that I'm selling, right? And I'll put some of the ones that I'm not selling that I think are overpriced, and I'll say overpriced, this one, overpriced. If you want to buy any of these ones, call me so that we can do a deal now. And with my number very, very bold, right? So you could do that here. All right, next one. Okay, thinking about selling your house this year, call me for a professional. So this is like a direct real estate person, just directly saying, call me, right? Now, this person is saying, call our office. She didn't say, call me, call our office. Because I'm sure she has a sales team somewhere that are taking all the calls. If she takes these calls by herself, she will die in 2 days. Especially if there are plenty. In fact, she will not do any other thing. She will just sit down and be taking calls. Right? So what you do is, because it's just you for now, right? You want to be, if you're running the ad like this, and you want them to call you directly, you want to be able to target it you want to make your targeting as tight as possible, so that it is really the people who are truly, 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 truly interested who actually call. But it's going to overwhelm you still. That's why I like taking them to a page. Let them go and book the appointment by themselves. Select dates. And then on those dates, you call them to talk. So this one is basically the same thing. So I'll just say, if you're thinking about buying a house or a piece of land in Lagos, finding out the value and the best place to buy is the proper way to do it. Let me give you a free consultation about how to buy land anywhere in Lagos or even outside Lagos. Call, you put your name, call Victor on this number. Like I said, I'd rather just send them to a booking form. So I'll say, click here to book a call with me, and then I'll put the link, basically. So, next. I think this is the last one, I think. Is it? Check. Go forward one more. Okay, it's the last one. Okay. All right. So, we go to module number 4. Sorry? Do you guys have questions that you want to ask? Okay, go ahead. Just click on present. Go ahead.
Please, my question is concerning the targeting.
Mm-hmm.
I do run Facebook and
Mm-hmm.
so, like, when I want to do targets and things like this, most of my targeting, the only thing I know is I target people that maybe they have liked or they follow the listing page on Facebook or any other. Is there maybe like any other way I can use to target?
Yeah, you can target by keywords.
That's good.
No, inside of by interest. Sorry, inside of Facebook, you can target by interest. The issue is which interest do you target,
Yes.
right? So what you do is you ask yourself, okay, so who are the kind of people that buy lands or buy houses? For example, if I want to target first-time home buyers, right? So I will target, of course, people who are interested in real estate, people who are interested in real estate investing, right? But I'm not going to stop there, right? I will target people who are, I'll also target people who are interested in just pure investments. Because again, people look at real estate as a form of investment, right? I'll target business owners because I know that they have money to buy. I'll target business owners, right? I'll target frequent flyers. You know why I'll target frequent flyers? Because they have money. If they're flying, they have money. I want, as much as possible, I want to make sure that it's people who have money that are looking at the ad.
Should I bring that's how we look at people that I know that they have the kind of...
No, these things are interest inside, exactly, good lifestyle. People who are progressive. For example, we target people from specific kinds of churches. In fact, I'll tell you the churches. Daystar, Christ Embassy, Winners, House on the Rock. In fact, when we ran that Pastor Paul's video that I told you guys about, right? So what we did, because I didn't say what we did. So what we did was, and I put it up, I just said, Pastor Paul has said it all. You know, imagine buying a house, spending just 4,000 naira on buying land and selling it for 3 billion years later. Pastor Paul has said, listen to Pastor Paul's story about how his dad did exactly this in this video. At the end of the video, if you're interested in buying land, there's a button on the same page where you watch this video. Click there, fill a form, and call us. That's basically all we said. And it was that video, and guess who we targeted? House on the Rock people. Yeah, now, because they're the ones who go to his church, they don't think they're going to believe what he says. Of course, obviously. So we just targeted. Now, so people who didn't attend that service, right, now have a chance to watch it, or people who are members but they are not in Lagos, they now have a chance to hear what he said about buying. Because at the end of that video, he kept saying, make sure you buy land today. Make sure you go and buy one today. And there I am, right there, ready to sell them land. You get what I'm saying? And you can use that video and do exactly this thing that I just said now. You can do it and it will still work.
Is it humanly possible that the character in that video will maybe start talking about giving permission to use?
About?
They didn't give permission to use this.
Nobody cares. It's Creative Commons now. It's YouTube. It's a video. Once you put your video on YouTube, it's Creative Commons. I can use it. That's why you can't fault people. Don't you see that in the AKG will go and Insta blog? You'll go and collect people's. I've blocked all of them because I don't want them screenshotting the things that I post on social media. I've blocked all of them. Even the new ones that will go and copy, I will go and find their handle and block it again. I don't like it, but I can't stop it. Because the moment you have posted, because, you see, that's the thing with, you go to social media, you set up an account, and you select, if you don't agree to terms, it will not register. So you want an account, so you agree to all the terms. But did you read the terms? There you go. You did not read the terms, but you have agreed that everything that you post, that it is free for everybody to use. That's part of the terms. It's called Creative Commons. That's the term for it. So as long as it was on YouTube, and it was their church page that posted, they clipped out that part. That 6-minute video. I'm sure his sermon is not 6 minutes. It's more than 6 minutes. But they cut out that part alone about real estate and posted it on their channel. Which means that they wanted people's attention on just that part. So there's nothing about, oh, I didn't give you permission to use it. Right? Yeah.
Where you were highlighting properties that can easily sold, you mentioned 1 bedroom, 2, and
Yes.
4. Why did you make 3 bedrooms?
Because from our experience, the ones that we have sold the most are those ones. They're the ones that are always in demand. 1 bedrooms or 2 bedrooms you're going to even find now. I'm sure we've not sold any for a while, but if I call now, it's not available. It's either they are still building, so they will tell you can buy it now and wait. But me, I don't want to sell the ones where people will buy and wait. The last one we sold was to one guy in UK. In fact, it was a sister that saw our ad and called me, and I spoke to her. She now said she would give him my number. That he told her that he wants to buy a flat in Lagos. So he gave her our number, and then he called. Right? And even that one that he bought, it wasn't even complete. It's been completed now, Sha. But at the time he paid for it, it still wasn't because the thing is scarce. It sells out fast because people buy it for Airbnb. And not just Airbnb, people buy it. There's this thing now that is done, you guys may not know, but a lot of people now rent flats to stay in over the weekend. A lot. Short leads. They call them short leads. It's increasingly popular. So those are what they use. People buy those flats for now. Short leads and Airbnbs. And a short lead can go as high as 35,000 a day. Yeah, can go as high as 35,000 a day. In fact, where our office is now, we bought the land behind it. We want to build 8 units. We want to build two blocks. One unit is going to be 1 bedroom. The second one is going to be 2 bedrooms. 8 units each. So 4 floors each. One is going to be 1 bedrooms. And we are selling everything. We're building them to sell them. Right? So the reason why I mentioned that is because they are like, it doesn't mean that others don't sell, but these are the ones that are asked for the most. Yeah. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say this, but I think you mentioned something about when I want to talk to the clients, that at least since it's a good investment, you need to talk to your kids for the make that decision. Now looking at if you want to like relate the sales, that means you have to have a budget for calls. Because when I look at the Nigerian telecom area, because you have to, for you to call the client, at least your talk is not something of 5 minutes or 3 minutes.
Yes, sometimes
something like
10, 20, depending.
Can even be even up to 30.
Yeah, sometimes 30.
That
Yeah.
you have to have a budget for.
You're in a business, my brother. And it's not actually that expensive. It's not that expensive. Calls are cheap now. Calls in Nigeria are cheap now.
Can you move them to WhatsApp?
You can. If they're comfortable. If you come in on WhatsApp, I won't answer.
With voice,
Yeah.
all this texting, I don't know.
Yeah.
Many people don't get connected with texting.
No, you can call on WhatsApp.
Okay.
So if it's just your data that is used. And it doesn't use a lot of your data anyway. So you can call on WhatsApp, yeah? Maybe, I don't know. They blocked my own too.
No, it's normal. That one just get to my life.
No, now these days they block you for zero reason. They block my own for zero reason. Okay, let me tell you guys what happened. So somebody hacked my Facebook. Somebody hacked my Facebook and just before I fell sick. So they hacked my Facebook and started running ads. Started running penis enlargement ads. The person is not Nigerian, no. The person just put 1,000, set up 11 ads, 1,000 daily budget. So $11,000 daily budget in total. You know, I was started running ads, and then, of course, after a few minutes, I now noticed that I started getting my card. My card got billed. I was like, for what now? And I checked, $700. So I now went to check. I was not like, shit, my ad had been hacked. My account has been hacked. So I started changing my password immediately. Before I could change the password, Facebook had even stopped the ads and banned that ad account. So I now sent them a message. So I said, my account was hacked, and I spoke, the person that responded, we had a back and forth, and she said, yeah, that they checked that the login was from so IP, so country, so that they knew it was not me. So I said, but she now said, but that $11,000 has been spent. And I said, but you agreed it was hacked. She said, yeah, but I will still have to pay it for them to unblock the account. So I said, but it's not our fault. You agreed that it was hacked. So we did another back and forth. She now said, okay, that she's spoken to our superiors, that we should pay it and they will give it to us as ad credits. So I was like, okay, if they are going to give it to us as ad credits, doesn't matter. So we paid the $11,000 and they blocked the account the next day, the entire account. So I can't even create an ad account. They basically restricted my profile from running adverts now. Right? No, we have plenty of ad accounts. We have other accounts that we use. I'm not, even if we don't have, there are plenty places to buy ad accounts. Don't worry, don't bother about it. Don't worry, they will not open it again. So just find an alternative. The people are stupid. The people are stupid. I have to be frank with you. It is silly. The reasons they used to ban accounts are the silliest reasons.
Even before, sir, it was even rare if you have done.
Yeah. Before, they will even tell you why. They will explain. They will help you. They will tell you, okay, don't do it again, or don't do this again, because sometimes you make those mistakes. Now they ban you for doing nothing.
Even when you're not using the wrong app.
They even ban it. You understand? So it's very likely not your fault that they banned it. It's just how silly they have been lately. Right? Okay, so we have what we call the real estate funnel flow. So this is the funnel flow for selling real estate. So leads, landing page, booking appointments. I've already touched a bit on this, right? And closing, right? So you want to lead people down this path. You want to lead them down this path as quickly as you can, as fast as possible, right? So what then that means is that the first stage is the leads. So you want to have a system for generating leads. You know what generating leads means? Generating inquiries. So you want to have systems in place for generating inquiries. And these are different ways you can generate inquiries. So you can run paid adverts, or you can post on your social media, right? Or you can talk to people one-on-one, or you can use flyers, right? You guys know P1. Okay. When P1 launched, I was one who wrote the sales letter that they printed on flyers that they used to start that company. Now they are big. They printed on flyers and they were sharing it in traffic. There are people who were sharing those flyers in traffic. The entire freaking sales letter. I don't mean the air flyers the way people print it, to picture of a house and one family smiling, and then names. Don't do your flyers like that. Everybody does their own like that. So what it means is that you look the same with everybody. Do your own different. Even if you have to spend your own money to do it, it is your business. Right? So what you do is you take your entire ad and you put it on a flyer. That same ad that you run on social media, on Facebook or something, you can take it and reproduce it as a flyer. And just put the link to that landing page that people will go to. Does that make sense? Exactly. So, and then classified ad sites. So, classified sites like gg.ng. I don't know if any other one exists these days. Okay, OList. OList is one of them. Yes, OList is there. gg.ng. Which other one? I think it's just those two these days. I don't know.
OLX.
Is OLX still, does it still exist? It's GG now. Yeah. Okay, so after you generate leads, the next thing is where they land, right? Do they land to an opt-in page? An opt-in page is the headline, the image of the ad, and the form that they fill to get what you have told them they're going to get, or to book your appointment or whatever, right? So remember that I told you guys that we don't use an opt-in anymore. But use an opt-in if you're starting out. It will cost you less. I can afford not to use so we use what we call a pre-sale. We just do like a brief description of the property and now tell them to call to book an appointment. So that way, I know that the only people calling are people who are actually interested. They're not just opting in to see what's going to happen. Because many Nigerians are funny. You will call them on the phone after they've booked the appointment. Oh, I just wanted to see if the phone will work. I just wanted to see if it will work. So our people are like that sometimes. Right? And then, next. So they generate the lead, they land here, and then they book an appointment. So they can book via email, You don't want to do this. This is cumbersome because it is manual, right? So you want them to book the appointment on the phone. Now, I said I was going to explain the other way you can do it if you don't want to use like apps like Calendly. Calendly will cost you around $12 a month. It's not terribly expensive. It's also not terribly cheap. So if you don't want to use that, you can use a simple Google form, right? So in that Google form, you have to have a space for them to put the date they want you to call and time they want you to call. The only thing now is that you have to sort it manually. Do you understand? You have to sort it manually. But the good thing with the Google Documents is that when you feed that Google document, it can get transferred as a Google Sheet. So you can see everything at a glance, right? So that when you are calling, you just look at the Google Sheet, you look at the name, because you want to make sure that when you call, you can mention their name. That's why you have to collect their name, right? Mention their name and all of that, okay? So that's how to do it for absolutely free. If you don't want to spend money on Calendly, it will still work, right? Okay. Next. So they generate the lead, get the landing page, they book the appointments, and then you qualify them. So qualification is the point where you want to talk to them and find out if they are now interested. Because again, remember that we want to get to the point very, very quickly when we are now pitching them. So we want to qualify them. So qualification, it basically entails asking them questions about the kinds of properties that they're interested in, how much is their budget, what areas do they want to buy property in, what kind of properties are they looking at, which ones are they considering, right? What have they looked at before? All of that. You want to very, very quickly find out how serious that person is so that you can get into the pitch and now start pitching them. You understand? To make that work, you have to use a script. And I'm going to explain to you guys how to use the script, right? So, the video where I explained the script thing was recorded, right? So you can send it to them, right? When it's ready. Okay, cool. So let me just basically so you guys, they're going to send you the video of the training that I did about the scripts and how to use it, because I think it's still being edited. But basically, a script is a guide. It's a guide about what to say. It will explain to you exactly what to say when you make that call to that person. You want to make the script will help you control the conversation. The worst thing that will happen to you when you call a prospect is for them to control that conversation. If they control it, they won't buy anything from you. You are the one who is bringing them an opportunity. You are bringing them an investment, something that is going to better their life. I don't have a house in Ikoyi yet. I have in Lekki, right? A house in Ikoyi costs plenty times more than houses in Lekki, right? So, but the way you handle the conversation, we have them see you as the expert, because that's what you want at every point in time. The moment they stop seeing you as one, they will not buy it from you. That's just how human beings are complicated. That's just how it is, right? So the script helps you control the conversation. It helps you pace. It helps you ask questions, because questions are the way that you control the conversation, right? So, for example, so let's say that he wants to buy land, and then I call. Then he picks up a call. What's your name? Brad. So I say, hello, Brad. Good afternoon. How are you doing today? This is Ronald calling. You see what I did? I said Ronald calling. I didn't say Ronald in Zimora. If you say Ronald in Zimora, it makes it formal. I want him to think that it's somebody that he knows, because then he's relaxed. If he's formal, he gets his defenses up in his mind, because he's like, here's this one. You understand? So this is Ronald, and he'll be like, yeah, if you recall, a couple of days ago, you filled a form where you requested more information about buying some land in Bejuleki. Does that ring a bell? So I'm taking him back to when he filled the form, because I want it to be fresh in his memory. I want to take him to that state of mind again. Does that ring a bell? And he says, yeah, it does. I'll be like, fantastic. So the purpose of my call today is to tell you about these pieces of property. Now, depending on what you promise in your advert, right, is to tell you about these pieces of property in the Bejuleki that you can purchase today. But before we get started, I want us to have an agreement. By the end of this call, 3 things are going to happen. 2, right? You can tell me yes. And if you say yes, I'll be glad, because now we can do business. I'm going to tell you about the properties that we have. I'm going to tell you how much they cost. We're going to reach an agreement when you want to get started, and you're going to buy the property. If you do that, I'm going to earn a commission. I'm telling you that up front. But you can also tell me this second other thing, which is a no. If you tell me no, I'm going to be hurt a little bit, because I'm not going to make a sale, right? But I'm perfectly fine with a no. You can tell me no, and I can tell you no. But there's a third thing that could happen, but I don't want that thing to happen. And that is for you to say maybe. Because many times, a maybe means a no. You are just trying to be polite. I just want you to be straightforward. If you don't want to do it, you let me know. If you want to do it, then we'll do business. So can we have an agreement right now before we start that you are going to say a yes or a no, but not a maybe? Right? And they're going to say, oh, sure. So that in case they start telling me maybe later, I'll tell them, remember we had an agreement. Right? And then I'll be like, okay, so fantastic. So now, I would like to know why are you interested in buying? Because again, we want to know exactly how much each person, the exact particular reasons. Because I told you about 4 groups, right? But those are kind of like broad. We want to know exactly why this particular person, because many times it is one thing that's making them actually buy, right? So I would like to know what is actually motivating you to want to buy property in Bejuleki. So they're going to say, oh, this is the reason why I want to buy it. No, I want to buy a home for my family. I'll be like, oh, that's fantastic. You have a huge family. How many children? So you're going to be like 4 children. Oh, 4. Wow. Right? And then you basically get into that conversation. What you want to do is that you want to be asking a lot of questions. You want to be asking a lot of questions because you want them to reveal all the reasons why they are trying to make that decision. So when you have gotten a lot of the answers, you now say, okay, so fantastic. So basically now I understand exactly why you want to make this decision, because your answers will help me guide you and make the proper recommendation to you. Because what I don't want to do is simply to push a product down your throat, simply because I want to make a sale. I don't want to do that. You see, I'm trying to build trust here now. I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that whatever I recommend to you is going to be the best thing for you, right? So, if you don't mind me asking, what kind of properties are you looking at? What kind of lands? In which areas? You see what I've been doing? I'm the one controlling the conversation, asking all the questions so far. And they're answering. So he says, oh, I'm looking for a property in Bejuleki and all of that. You'll be like, okay, that's fantastic. The thing with the Bejuleki is that a lot of that area is under government acquisition, right? So where you buy is supremely important, because you want to make sure that you buy and it's authentic. You don't want 4 years down the road or 10 years down the road for the government to come and demolish your property, right? So, but again, depending on the areas in the Bejuleki, the prices differ. So, if you don't mind my asking, how much is your budget for buying? what I'm trying to do is I want to know exactly how much he's willing to commit, right? So they're going to say 5 million, 10 million. So you're like, okay, 5 million, 10 million. So you now look at your portfolio and see whether you have a 5 million naira house, plot of land in Ibeji, right? And if you do, you can now say, oh, that's fantastic. So, in our portfolio, we have several 5 million naira plots of land. They are situated in so-so area, so-so area, so-so area. But don't worry about these names because the names will start confusing them. Don't worry about the names because what I want you to do is that I will eventually want you to actually go and do an inspection of these areas. I'm just trying to let you know that there are options. But let me explain where these places are situated so that you can tell me, based on what you want, which one you would rather prefer to go and inspect. Now, I'm putting it in their head now that they are going to go and inspect, right? So I explain, okay, this one is beside the free trade zone. This one is further down at Larangbe, right? This other one is closer to Ekpe. Now, in their head, they know that the one closer to Ekpe is farther than these other two. So they will say, oh, okay, I want the one close to the free trade zone because obviously the one close to the free trade zone will command a faster value because of the developments happening in those areas. And so when they say, okay, I think this is the one, I'll be like, fantastic choice. Now, the reason why it's fantastic is because it's close to the free trade zone. The value is going to rise very, very rapidly because the free trade zone is operational. Dangote refinery is just right beside the free trade zone. The seaport is happening there, right there at the free trade zone. So buying property there or around there, very close to there, is really, really good. And this particular property in that area is about 10 minutes from the free trade zone. So now I'm talking about the benefits, right? But let's assume that their budget is lower, right? I'll go through the same process. I will say, but the thing is that the property that is in that area is a little bit above your budget. Would you consider increasing your budget? So they're going to say, how much is it? I'll be like, it's about around 2 million or more. But let's not talk about price now. Let's just talk about what you want first. I will always find you something that fits your budget. I will always find you something. Because you don't want to start dwelling on the pricing. You want them to come for the inspection first. Many people change their mind when they come for inspection and buy things that they didn't want to buy before, that cost more than they wanted to spend, right? So, but let's not talk about the budget now. Let's just talk about exactly what it is you want, and then so you talk about that some more, and then you invite them to come for an inspection. So thank you so much. Martin, right? Bride. So thank you so much, Bride. It's been a very, very great discussion. So what I want us to do is that I want us to take it a step further. I would like to show you some of these properties if you're free on Wednesday. Now, let's assume that Gtext does inspections on Wednesdays and Saturdays. I don't know which days they do it, but most real estate companies do it on those days. If you're talking to them on Monday, make sure that you are trying to book them the very next one. Because the longer they stay between that phone conversation and when they inspect, the very likely they're not going to buy from you. Because there's something called buyer's remorse. People make a commitment to something. As time passes, they start wondering if they made the right decision. So you want to, as quickly as possible, take them to actually go and see. Because a lot of people now finally commit when they have seen the property, right? So if you're talking to them on a Monday or a Tuesday, let's assume it's a Tuesday. So here's what I want us to do, right? See the words I'm using, us, right? I'm never using the word me. It's us, you. So what I want us to do is I want us to go see some of these sites tomorrow because we have an inspection day tomorrow. Can you spare tomorrow? Don't worry about the transportation. We'll come pick you up. Now, you can't, if they're in the mainland and you're on the island, you can't go pick them up. Or hold up, we kill you on the road. But if they're on the island, we always go and pick them up from the house, right? Another reason why we go and pick them up is that so there will be no excuse not to come. There will be no, my car got spoiled. There will be no, I don't have a car. There will be no nothing. You understand? So we tell them we'll come and pick them up and drive them there and then take them back. Right? So now sometimes they will say, oh no, but I work, I can't, okay. I'll be like, okay, that's fine. We also have another inspection on Saturday. So if you can't do Wednesday, I'm pretty certain that you can do Saturday. I am pretty certain. The words that I use are on purpose. I'm pretty certain. Now I'm assuming for them that they will, because they have refused this one, that they will agree to this one. You understand? It's called NLP. You guys know what NLP is? It's called NLP. So I'm assuming for them. And human beings, because of the way human beings are wired, because they have refused me once, they are uncomfortable refusing me the second time. So they are most likely going to say yes, okay. I'll be like, okay, so that's fantastic. So if you don't mind, I would love to take your name. I would love to take your address so that we can come pick you up, right? If they're on the mainland, tell them that, we are going to leave at so time. So I would love for you to be available before that time. We're going to leave by 10 on Saturday. I would love for you to be available at the office. I'm going to text you the address. If you can go pick them up, it's better. So I don't know if Gtext creates, has a vehicle for going to pick people up and dropping them off. If they do, please take advantage of it, right? Otherwise, you have to invite them to come to the office, even if they're using their own cars and all. So you do that and basically have them show up. It is after they show up that you start talking about the pricing. Don't be tempted to talk about how much it is before they show up. Because many of them will now shut it out because they think it's too expensive and not come. I've seen many people come and say, I wasn't going to pay this much for this thing, but then they ended up paying that much for it. So basically, that's the process that the script works through and takes people. So when they show up, a lot of them now commit. You can now start talking pricing. You can now start talking payment plans after they have shown up, right? Don't try to close a 50 million naira deal on the phone. It is hard if you don't have experience. It is hard. This lady that I said that bought 20 plus hasn't shown up, but remember, she knew me. She said she's followed me for a while, right? So that helped. That's probably the reason why she has not shown up. She never came for an inspection, never showed up for an inspection. We just sent the documents to her. Got her name, got her address, got everything, drew up the documents, sent it to her. She said she was going to pass it over to her lawyer to make sure that everything was okay. She did that, called us that everything checked out and that she was going to pay the balance. And she paid the balance, and that was it. Right? But if not, don't try to close on the phone if you don't have sales experience. It's hard, especially for very high ticket stuff. Right? What you can do is talk on the phone, get them to the point where, because again, a lot of people will not pay money if they don't see the thing. A lot of them, 90% plus, will not pay if they don't see it. So what if the person is abroad? What do you do? Now, if they're abroad, there is hardly any other way to do it. So it's either you now show them a video of the place, right? Or you can go to the place and actually show them the place. Maybe do like a live viewing of the place. Or you can tell them to send a relative that they trust, local, who can go with you to view the place and then give them feedback. So basically, that is how you use a script, and When they show up, you now close, right? You now close, so they inspect. You can use video or you can talk to them on the phone if they are not available. If they're available in the country and they're in Lagos, if you're staying in Lagos, make sure you take them for an inspection. So basically, that's what you do, and you close the deal. All right, so that brings us to the end of our session today. Did you like the class or not? Fantastic. So if you have any other, I have another meeting that I'm already late for, but I'm going to take questions. So if you have questions, please ask away. Yes, we are going to, I'm going to, you know, see they're separate. I'm going to put everything together. I'm going to send it to them. They are going to send it to you. Okay? Yeah.
So in the case whereby clients perspective probably you have more than one or two properties at the landed property to show the customer, how do you handle that?
You mean for the inspection?
You're going to pick out, then get into one or two, three places. So
Yes. Yes.
how will you handle that? Is this to go for all the three?
Yes. Take them. They go. Trust me, they go. Because they want to see as many options as they can. And then another thing that is critical, if it's a guy, if it's a man that is buying from you, make sure you involve his wife. Please, 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 make sure you involve their wife. Many men will never pay for anything if their wife has not okayed it. Women have a lot of power. I'm telling you, involve them. Especially when you're talking to them on the phone. After you've gotten the agreement to come and do an inspection, say, by the way, who else is involved? I mean, you're not just buying this for yourself. I'm sure you're buying it also to benefit your family. They're going to be like, yeah. So, married? You'll be like, yeah, is your wife around? Can you put on the phone? Let me talk to her. You see how I did it? I didn't ask for her to come passively. I didn't say, please, can you tell her to please just come on the phone? No. I'm enthusiastic about asking for it. Can you tell her on the phone? So now he's wondering what I want to tell his wife. But he's going to call her. I'll be like, madam, how are you doing today? I say, your husband is about to make the most important decision that's going to benefit you and your kids. How many kids do you have, by the way? Oh, I have 3 kids. Fantastic. He's about to buy this piece of land, but I thought it's important that you are aware. Forget the fact that he may have discussed it with her. The fact that you have told her that you want to make her aware will make her like you. Instantly. You'll be like, this guy is a feminist. Right? I'm a feminist every time though. Right? So, no, you can't do that for an investor. And those guys are more knowledgeable than you will ever be, right? You can't do all those ones for them. I'm talking about like home buyers, like immigrants, right? Like cash protectors. Investors, don't do that. They will not listen to you.
But how will you identify them? How will you identify that this person is
Because of the ad that you run now, your ad, your conversation, the ad that you run is going to target them. Exactly. So, all right, any other one? Any other question?
Sorry,
Yes.
like in this case, how can we actually have access to some materials that can actually build one and know more about real estate?
There are tons of materials online. That's why I talked about knowledge. That's why I gave you guys those names that I gave you. Watch what those guys do. I watch these guys all the time. And I'm thinking, okay, if I sell a house, okay, I'm going to tell you guys something now. If I sell a house and I'm making 2 million or 3 million on it, what can I give the buyer? So that the buyer is so happy that he gives me recommendations for other people. Because I tell you, somebody who buys a house knows maybe like 2 or other 3 people who want to buy a house or land. They know. They know. So what we do is that for every property that we sell, right, we buy a bottle of Moet and Chandon, right, and we send it by DHL, not FedEx. DHL. DHL is the most respected courier in the country, right? And if I send it by DHL, I know it is going direct to that person. Even if the person is the CEO, the secretary will take it to them. They don't want trouble, right? They will take it to them. So buy a bottle of Moet, and then a Moet. You know Moet? It's champagne. Yes. So we buy a bottle of it, and then we put a note saying, thank you so much for trusting us and making this investment. I believe so much, because it's personal, so I'm writing it as myself. I believe so much in the value that this property is going to bring to you and to your family if it's a home buyer, if it's an investor, to you as an investor. And I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to make this sale and earn a commission. As a thank you, please enjoy this bottle of one of the best wine brands in the world. Courtesy of me. Thank you so much. God bless you. Signed, Ronald. So that's what I did. Then 2 days later, I called them because I know that about 2 days later they will already have it. So they are happy because the funny thing, many times maybe nobody has even done that for them before, right? So they're happy. So 2 days later I call. They're like, hey, I saw what you sent. I say, yeah, thank you so much. I'm just calling again to say thank you. They'll be like, yeah, you shouldn't have bothered. I'll be like, nah, it's fine, sir, or it's fine, man, it's okay. Now, it doesn't matter whether they drink or not. Don't worry. If they don't drink, they'll give it to somebody. No, it doesn't matter. I don't drink, but I get people who give me stuff, wine. I just give it to people that I know drink, right? So I just, it's fine, man, it's okay. There's no problem. I was just calling again to see whether you could do me a favor. Now they're receptive. They're like, oh yeah, sure. I would love to know if you have maybe like your friends or people you know that might be interested in buying property just like you did. I would very much appreciate it if you could give me about 3 referrals. They'd be like, oh, sure. Call so person. Always, it works. All the time. So when you call and say that so person told you to call them, they listen. They listen to you because they trust that person, right? And that person wouldn't recommend them if that person didn't know that they trusted them. That's how it works, right? So a lot of this is experience, doing it over and over and over and over. So you see the things that work, see the things that don't work. Yeah.
I had a discussion with someone, and they're talking about property sales.
Mm-hmm.
So the person was now asking a question: seller commission and buyer commission.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. So that happens with development, not with land. Land, it is the seller that pays you all the commissions. When you are buying land, when people are buying houses, the buyer expects to pay a commission to the realtor who is selling it to them. Yes. The buyer already, it's like when you parents, don't you expect to pay the agent? Exactly. That's how it works. So if it's for like houses, the buyer knows that they're going to pay a commission. What they are now going to be fighting about is how much to pay you. What the percentage is, because they also don't want to pay too much, because for them it's an extra expense, but they expect to pay it. The issue now is, they may now tell you, if you want me to buy, I'm not going to pay up to 5%, I will pay you 3%. You guys will not negotiate it. Now the seller will also pay a percentage for bringing the deal to them. And many times, they don't like doing more than 5%. But some will do 7%. Some will also do 10% if their house, if they are selling it for a lot of money, right? So, for example, these guys, Eco Atlantic, they do 10%. If you sell any unit of Eco Atlantic, you get 10% of it, and those things are bloody expensive. right? So, does that answer the question now? Okay. You wanted to ask something?
Yes, I wanted to ask, this is more like, I know the first illustration you gave works on it,
Mhm.
but then there's an exception case that I faced at the time,
Okay.
whereby I sold property to someone,
Mm-hmm.
that person then, using this whole approach, referred me to someone else.
Yeah.
But then again, the person was skeptical. If that person would want to buy, the person has the potential of buying,
Yeah.
but I think it's in Nigerian and also because it's a political space.
Oh, okay.
So the other person was now kind of, the other person really didn't give so much to me, too much
Yeah.
interest. Not because he wasn't willing to buy, not because he doesn't have the
Potential.
cash,
Yes.
purchase it, but just because, this referral thing, I don't want anybody to know at all. Is there a way to act through this kind of
There are certain situations that there's nothing you can do about it. Those situations will come up, and you will know that you've tried your best. Everything will not work 100% all the time. I'm not expecting, if I tell you that everything that I've said here is going to work exactly as I say it, then I'll be a liar. The thing is that it's going to work most of the time. And what you simply want is for it to work most of the time. You understand? So there are certain situations, those kind of situations, especially in politics and Nigeria. People don't like all those, because now they'll be like, this one that this person recommended you, maybe you and him are pals. If I now buy something from you, you now go and tell him some of the things about me. So they don't want to do that, so they will rather just not do it. Yeah, so it happens. In those situations, there's really nothing you can do. So you just let it go. All right?
Sir,
Yeah.
I discovered that most of the time, some of the terms you're using is basically most of them are under digital marketing and
Yes.
for instance. So for we now that are just coming up and all that, what aspect do you think would be of interest that we can actually focus on that will help us grow in real estate?
Okay, focus on the marketing. Focus on again, everything that I've told you here is about selling and marketing. It's marketing and sales, right? So just focus on learning how to get better at marketing on the copywriting side, right? The copywriting side of marketing, right? The conversion side, because a lot of the things that I've told you about now is also about conversion. You know what I mean by conversion, right? If you talk to 100 people, how many out of 100 buy? And also remember, and this is a good point because it just made me remember that the more people you talk to, the higher the likelihood that you are going to sell something. Don't talk to 10 people and then think that it's not working. It's just 10 people you spoke to. They are going to sell more plus of line if you talk to 100 than you talk to 10. Always remember that marketing and sales is a numbers game. Numbers. The more people you have to talk to, the likelier the chances that you are going to sell something. Because in life, you are going to get plenty no's. You just need one yes. Every day that I sell, I'm just looking for the people who will say yes as fast as possible. So if you make 18 million a year, 52,000 a month, so that's around 600,000 a year. So if you make 18 million, that means you are doing almost 3,000% higher than, if my math is correct, by the way, higher than the average salary earner. So always focus on the big picture. Always focus on the big picture and learn as much as you can. Find stuff about real estate. Don't worry whether it's related to Nigerian real estate. You're going to start seeing ideas about what to do, right? We started doing this campaign thing because I saw Manny Koch being giving out cars. This guy is giving out Mercedes-Benz SLRs, convertibles, for every sale that he makes. Crazy. I saw it, I was like, this guy is mad. But I like this kind of madness, right? Because it has made him stand out. If you start giving cars to, everybody know you are copying him. If any other person starts giving cars to, people will know we are copying. So people now offer other things, right? There's one real estate guy said that he saw that was what the guy was doing. That what he now started doing was he started offering vacation tickets to the Bahamas if you buy from him. Now, of course, it costs him far lesser than the cost of a car, but it achieves the same effect. You get what I'm saying? It still achieves the same effects. So study as much as you can. Find books on real estate. When we wanted to start our real estate company, I went to Amazon and I bought 15 books on real estate. And they delivered it, and I sat down one entire week reading them. Now, of course, I was skimming it a lot, but I was just trying to jot down the important things. What are the important things? Because I wanted to very, very quickly, because I knew the selling side, I didn't know a lot of the management side. You understand? So I wanted to very, very quickly, as much as I also tried to look for books about real estate relating to Nigeria too. But it was hard to find, right? So I just ended up reading a lot of articles online. So get as much info as you can, because the more info you have, the more confidence you will have. Because now you are like, okay, this thing is doable, right? This thing is doable. Look for people who are already doing the same thing, right? And then just get started and keep pushing. You just need your first sale. The moment you make your first sale, the way your confidence is going to shoot up, you'll be shocked. You just need your first sale. You make your first sale, and there, you're on your way. Because once you make your first sale, your confidence goes up. Now you know that, I can sell this thing now. Now you start shooting for your second one, and your third, and your fourth. Like that. You understand now? All right, thank you guys. I have another meeting. I need to run. Thanks.
Hey, off camera.
The camera is still on.